Welcome to Native Calgarian and Mossy for listening. I'm your host, Michelle Robinson, speaking to you in Mohkinstsis in the Blackfoot Confederacy, home of the Niitsitapi, Tsuut'ina Dene, and the Yiharhi Nakota. I talk about history, current news, unheard news, book clubs, with special guests to give local or national issues a voice through an urban Satu Dene lens. My life's work will be to honor the voices of my ancestors and next generation with humor, love, and truth. Reconciliation is work, not performance. May we honor all Indigenous voices with that courage. Today is May 26, 2025. Welcome to Native Calgarian. If you enjoy hearing Indigenous content by this Satu Dene woman, my Patreon account is Native Calgarian, where you can pledge and support. Thank you, previous donors, for showing your support. For those who cannot afford to give, I'd love to hear from you at nativeyyc@gmail.com, where you can send in your comments or questions. Also, giving a review helps, whatever medium you're listening from. I have a YouTube channel that you can go and subscribe. You can go to nativecalgarian.com for the latest podcasts and pin posts on social media. And always remember to share what you've learned to your network. Oki, naganago, mekoche, chestokom aki, or Nara Dago Dekots Nagotine Siku Serdi. My name is Red Thunder Woman. My married colonial English name is Michelle Robinson, and I use she and they and them pronouns. My Dene lineage roots me in the land of the Great Bear Lake tribe in Treaty 11 in Delaney. I'm a native to Turtle Island, and my Dene nation is uninvited to this area of Clincho Tine Indahe in Satu Dene, meaning many big dog town, named after the Calgary Stampede. I was born in Calgary, or in Blackfoot, Mohkinstsis, as Michelle Elliott, an English name that has afforded me privilege in an English colonial world. Acknowledging proximity to whiteness is important because the darker the skin, the more racism a person experiences in colonial spaces. My late great-grandfather is Malo Biwo from Delaney. His daughter, Alice, is my now late granny. My mother and I are Northern Slavey Dene or Satu Dene, but my Indian Act and Post status card by the Canadian government says Yellowknives Dene. Through my father, I am a daughter of the Mayflower and a daughter of the American Revolution. Having a Canadian Indian Act and Post status card is a colonial construct by Canadian policies meant to divide Indigenous peoples' inherent rights. Indigenous Two-Spirit, or the Indigenous 2S LGBTQ plus community, and Indigenous women are at the bottom of the Canadian socio-economic ladder because of colonial trauma, imposed poverty, racism, gendered violence, and land theft. I'm not a social worker, nor an elder, nor do I speak on behalf of all Indigenous peoples. But I share my journey as a Dene mom, navigating this ableist, colonial, misogynistic, racist world in 2025. I think of all of this today, and I hope we honor the many Indigenous lives lost for this so-called country named Canada. I hope you see your role in the importance of stopping harm, and as a citizen, see your role in reconciliation, and as a treaty partner. Land Back is a movement that could save the planet from climate change created by colonialism, but it would be a part of the treaty partnership, part of meaningful reconciliation, honoring global initiatives like the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. As a former geomatics drafter, I'd be happy to teach you more, but you'll have to pay me. Go to nativecalgarian.com for more. Today, we have some really great guests with us. I'm really excited to talk about what's happening here up north. So with that, I am going to have our friends introduce themselves. So I will unmute.
Okay. Lantu, Sky Earth Buffalo Boy, is my Indian name. My child's name is Earthman, and I had the name on my government card's Jordan Robinson. My colonial card, that's my colonial name. I'm White Passing Dene, light skin. But I did use that. I use that to get through school there. I'm from Tui, Cold Lake. I hesitate to call it First Nation, but the Dene Nation is where I identify that I'm from. My dad always taught me that I'm not a Canadian, I'm a Dene, and I have to find out what that means. So I had to come home and learn how to hunt and fish to learn how to do that. There was a point where I was going to choose either I'm going to go and learn how to be a doctor or white man in the white man way, or I'm going to go and learn my
Soul.
yeah, learn myself,
Identity.
learn who I am, learn my identity. And like with that identity, like it kind of unveiled to me that yeah, we are healers. We're healers of the land, and we're not like we're nonviolent people, but we've been brought up in violent circumstances. And in order to adapt, a lot of us have had to fight to survive, and literally. So we've survived a lot of military occupation in Cold Lake, and our families have experienced the harm, direct harm from residential schools and day schools and all the things that happen. But I could go on, but I'll I'll just leave it there for my introduction. So doing traditional introductions. My late father's name was Bear Spirit. He's and his colonial name was Adler Jacko. Yeah, he 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 did not survive his addictions, and my mom's still alive. Her name's Lise Robinson. My dad was a counselor, a counselor by trade, but yeah, he succumbed. And then my mom, yeah, she's Lise Robinson, mountain woman from La Fawn there. She's Métis, and that's where the Robinson came from. I was born Jacko, and yeah, there's a lot of history there. But I went through school to become a biologist. I got a degree in science in ecology and environmental biology. I had a focus in microbiology, and I was developing some soil remediation technology there and working for the white man, basically. Or sorry, I shouldn't use that YT. Yeah, but I was working for industry, and I was seeing the problems, and the land was sick, and me and my people are sick as a result of all the roads and the fences and the oil and the gas and the, you know, you name it, it's there, and it's on our land, and it's being taken care of, and it's damaged because we don't see any benefit from it, any direct benefit. They call it jobs, but that's like taking our time. We got to spend our time healing, I feel like. And I decided at one point there that the land is what is causing all these sicknesses in the people, because the land's sick right now. And that's why I decided to study the land. And I decided to just basically gave up on going to be a white man doctor. And it's like, yeah, the land needs doctors too. And the land is providing for basically everybody. So that'd have to be my fight there. And yeah, as a result of what the church has done to our family, and what my dad's been through, and the things I've witnessed, and experienced, uh, yeah, I don't see a treaty that's been honored in 150 years, and it's just, that's the truth. And it might piss off, it might create anger at first, but that's where healing begins. Like, you gotta be mad. If you got any humanity left, you gotta get mad. Like, damn, my country's built on genocide. Damn, Like anybody will get mad about that. You were taught your whole life to be like, oh, flag. I'm gonna bow down to this flag and pledge my allegiance to this flag. That's like blowing in the wind, like while you're on a pile of our dead babies, pile of our dead women and children, massacres at Wounded Knee, like it's real, right? Massacre over here, just in Frog Lake. That's our people, man. They did us dirty. They did the Dene dirty, boy. If you look into our history, look at the Dene village. But anyway, I'm gonna stop there and let my cousin introduce himself here.
I'm gonna just be a little short and sweet, I guess. I don't have
I'm long-winded.
too much of an introduction, but I guess you can call me Big Brother. That's in Dene, it's called Tsunagi. Yeah, but yeah, I'm from here too, Cold Lake, Alberta. Yeah, Slough, Chokchwe. Well, my tongue's a little not in quite there yet, but yeah, still learning process. Yazi is short for a little bit of Dene.
Yeah.
But yeah, my government name would be Roland Berlin. Yeah, and that should be about it for now. Pass it on to.
My name is Klin Chokche Nagluk. I'm from here originally, Choktuwe. My English name is Mervyn Grambois. I've been doing this for a long time. When I was a little kid, the elders took me to ceremony, told me that I had to go out there and study the white man, not knowing what they meant. About a week, 2 weeks after they told me that, welfare system came and picked up my family. So we went through the welfare system, and then we kept asking my mom what it was like to go through residential school, and she wouldn't tell us. One day she got mad at us and told us, if you want to know so much, put yourselves in one. So me and my brother put myself in Blue Quills, which is here in Alberta. I ended up there for about a month and a half, 2 months. My brother stayed there for the one full semester. When we finally got to talk to him, they wouldn't let us talk to him. When we finally got to talk to him, he had a broken leg. So we went and, no, broken arm. So as soon as we found that out, we went and got him. And he couldn't open and close his hand. So we took him to the doctor in Edmonton at Charles Council Indian Hospital. They re-broke his arm so they could set it right. Anyway, about me, I went to residential school, day school, welfare system. Went through a lot of genocide, a lot of fights with white kids all the time. So after a while, they decided not to bother me no more because they couldn't beat me up. I had a cousin named Brian Grumble, and I hung around with him for a while. And we went to different places that he had gone through as an activist. Like in BC, we went to Sun Peaks, where Nancy Green wouldn't let them build their stuff. So we didn't let them build theirs either. Yeah, I've been doing this for such a long time. It's natural to me now. I eat, sleep, and dream this. I have a computer. I'm on it all day, looking for information. And I've been doing that since I was 12. When I first started, there were no computers, no just encyclopedias. So I found out that they can follow me in whatever I do, those Masons. So I just started using computer, and there they follow us too. It's all
Control.
it's all
History trail. Digital
Monitored.
footprint. Monitored.
it's all one system, and they're all against our people. When they bring people here, they're bringing people here so our vote and our voice is not loud anymore. They don't even pay attention to us anymore. They prejudice against us, our women, our children.
Even the people they bring here.
Yeah. The people they bring here too, some of them are criminals, and they bring them here, and they don't even know they're criminals. They don't even check them. That's about it for now. I have lots to say, but that's it for now.
I see.
Before I start, I want to offer tobacco to you, virtual tobacco, if you have tobacco, you can offer it to any element. I'll put it in a fire for you, but I'll put it here for now. Thank you. Oh, hi. Thank you for doing this, especially asking for permission first. And I am Wikasisquel Bisimukeo of Kiyuan Cree Nation, Alberta, and Onion Lake, Saskatchewan. My descendants go as far back as east anyway. My late Kokum knew French Cree, and that's a really old language, I was told, and she passed away with that. I'm chief from Onion Lake side from my mom, and watchmaker from my dad. Sparkling eyes from my dad's mom's side, and my mom's mom's side is Pacha. So we're everywhere. I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. I am a mother, very protective. Something pulled me towards the movement, and I didn't think there was other people like me. And I'm really grateful for this new family that you know we have, like everybody, and growing to this day, growing every day, and um, I'm just I'm still learning. I've been taught by my late Muslim. I do understand Cree. I speak a little bit like Upsis, but I do understand it. I went to school in Kihue and Onion Lake, Lloydminster, Saskatoon. I lived almost everywhere. Haven't been further than Edmonton, or haven't been to BC, but I did go to Manitoba. Yeah, I'm doing this because I know there's gonna be those gonna be born in the future, and to me, for myself, I don't believe like I'm not really fighting for myself. I'm fighting for everyone else. Fighting for kids. I'll Doesn't matter health wise, I will keep fighting till my last breath. And fighting, I mean verbally, even if I have to, physically, I'll defend myself and others. I'm very protective. I'm vocal. I don't like to have hate my heart when I get mad. basically I just use my words. I learned that through my kids, and everything I've learned was from my kids. My kids are basically the ones that helped build me to who I am, and plus everyone who came along throughout my life, besides my parents. And yeah, I'm proud of who I am. I'm a Nehio from Treaty 6 territory. Um, I'm a proud Nehio of Turtle Island, and I pray that everyone starts to use their voice before it's silenced. For myself, I do have something above my voice box, so I'm gonna use my voice as much as I can, and I don't care what anyone says. But I gotta be careful about what I say too. I have to stop to think first, so And that's about it. I do have more, but I think I'll leave it at that. Oh, I sounded like a counselor right there.
Hey.
I'll leave it at that. We'll move forward.
We're doing this through love. We don't want any hatred involved with this. Although we experienced it in Lloydminster a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
I've been to 3 protests. 2 here. I went to BC for one. One was 76 days here at what we called Berry Point. One was at the air weapons range. 2 was at the air weapons range. One's on the west side. That one was too long to go to, so we changed the camp to this other highway. That's only about 1.5 miles from where we're sitting right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you the rest if I ever meet you.
That sounds great. Thank you. Geraldine, do you want to chime in?
Huh?
Oh, on with your prayer.
Okay.
Real quick before we get going, because in the Dene are a different kind of an Indian. We're like, you don't see them dancing in powwows too much, but you'll see them in the bush hunting and fishing. You'll see us hunting, you'll see us fishing, and you'll see us praying. And boy, we pray good, yeah. So I had written this one, but because we're given a tobacco offering, so I wanted to do a prayer. So, O Great Spirit, Creator of all things, the seen and unseen, it is I, Sky Earth Buffalo Boy, here before you. We humble ourselves before the sacred breath of life and ask for strength, guidance, and truth. We acknowledge and honor the 4 directions. We acknowledge and honor the 4 directions, the sacred beings who walk with them. Our protector is going crazy here. We acknowledge the 4 directions, the sacred beings who walk with them. To the east, where the sun rises and new life begins. We call on the eagle, who carries our prayers to the Creator. We ask for vision, clarity, and awakening of our youth. To the south, where the heart and fire of life burn strong, we call on the wolf, who teaches family, loyalty, and courage. Help us all walk on the red road. With truth and love. To the west, where the thunder and mystery dwells, we call on the bear, guardian of the dreams, the inner knowing. Walk with our healers and protect our ceremonies. To the north, the land of ice and wisdom, we call on the white buffalo, the sacred teacher of law, prophecy, and renewal. Guide our leaders, our warriors, and our matriarchs. We thank the grandmothers and the grandfathers who walked before us. Their prayers, their songs, and their sacrifices. We ask forgiveness for the times we have forgotten who we are. We ask for protection as we speak the truth, reclaim our law, and rise as nations once again. May this gathering be strong. May every word spoken be blessed, and may the ancestors walk with us today. May we act always in love, unity, and sacred responsibility. Aho, all my relations.
Mhm.
Good job.
Masi Cho.
Wipe my tears off screen.
Charlene, would you
I
like
just had to wipe my tears off screen.
That's okay. Tears are good. Same with four-legged barks.
Yeah.
Charlene, would you like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Sure.
Thank you, dearly.
My name is Jerlene Anderson Sullivan. I'm located in Kinnesau CP, Norway House Cree Nation. My dad is from this community, and my late mother, Virginia, was from Peter Ballantyne Band Cree Nation from Pelican Narrows. So she is Woodlands Cree, and my dad is Swampy Cree. I started getting active back in 2012. I think that was one of the first Idle No Mores. I don't know what drew me to that movement, but I was there for a medical with my daughter, and she was only 5 years old at the time. She was going for an appointment for her hearing. So they said there was a movement gathering at the Forks. So I made my way over there with my daughter. And I recall, being a part of, just like being aware of, who we are as a people. And, being raised as a Christian, right? I just felt like, okay, this feels nice. And like we're fighting, our people are standing up and fighting for their rights, to practice their culture and to identify as Indigenous people, Anishinaabe, Cree, Dene. It was very eye-opening for me because I was just learning at time. And my daughter, she was so excited. She's just a little girl, and she's just so happy to see everybody in the regalia, and they're all standing, for something important. So I'm watching, and I notice, all around me, but I notice there's also a strong presence in police, military, right up in the buildings. and they had sniper guns aimed, and it was like, wow, we're such a threat, you know, we are such a threat to, the Canadian society, that they don't care that there's kids here. My daughter was only 5 years old, and, they didn't seem concerned that she was there with us. So that gave me courage to keep making a stand for our people. Because if they're not afraid to point guns at kids, then we need to protect our kids. More of us need to stand up, and more of us need to have that courage, to bring our kids out when we need to educate them on, fighting for what is important, our culture, bring back our language, getting back to our home fires. So that's something that I'm happy about. And then also my family, we've been a part of Jordan's Principle because Jordan is related to, that's my brother. I still feel like he is present in everything in every event that we go to, like with the Jordan's Principle gatherings, the powwows, the round dances. He always makes an appearance. And people always come with messages saying, I had this vision, or I had a dream of this little boy. And they would point out his picture of Jordan, and he's asking for support. He's asking for help and guide, like for help, because our kids need it. Our kids are suffering today because there's too much mishappenings that is going on at our band councils, at our band offices, and within those Jordan's Principle offices. Those kids are suffering. They're not getting the proper health care, the proper services from Jordan's Principle. So I feel like my brother, he's fighting really hard for those children. And I always hear people saying, okay, it's time to let him rest in peace. But our ancestors will not rest when there's injustices happening to the children that are still walking this world. So, and that is where we also need to keep, using our voices and speaking up for those that need it, like those children that don't have a voice, the ones with autism, the ones that, are that can't really speak, the ones that can't walk. Those ones we need to stand up for, because, if it wasn't for them and for Jordan, we wouldn't have a Jordan's Principle. And we just have to keep on with the movement, and the message that, Jordan is sending is to honor those children, to show them love and compassion.
It's an honor to hear from Jordan's sister, Masi Cho, for that. I honor your family for all that they've done for us, indirectly or directly. So thank you. Sean, would you like to unmute?
Rani, so Gigabowi Makwanin Dodum. My name is Sean Westerwook. My first name is Colonial. My last name is Indigenous. My last name is means the quilt. My line goes back to the Portage Band, and the Portage Band is is a band of First Nations that laid down the foundation for the number treaties. And whenever treaties were signed, any kind of gathering was about to happen, a quilt will be laid down. And then chiefs would sit on that quilt and begin to exchange negotiations with the settlers. And I'm from Treaty 2, Skowhenan First Nation, and I'm the founder of the movement. And the movement is to stand for the injustice of our people. And it's been going on too long that that there is a lot of promises made that things will be done, things will be changed, and it came to a point where these words just became hollow. And it's been going on for generations that, you know, our ancestors and our elders today have heard every lie in the book, every broken promise in the book that you can hear from the colonial government. So the purpose of the movement is to reestablish our laws, our clan systems, and our warrior societies. There's not one treaty ever ratified that mentioned that our ancestors have ceded our laws, our clans, and our warrior societies. And I believe, you know, it's time as a people, we got to start managing UNDRIP ourselves. We all have unceded laws, and we could adopt UNDRIP as a secondary law and begin to govern UNDRIP as we see fit. Obviously, Bill C-15 doesn't only has one option in regarding self-determination, and that's just basically our rights have to be incorporated in order to move forward. So now, with that being said, we have these chiefs that are signing in to become incorporated through the First Nation Elections Act, the Financial Administration Law. And these people are making decisions behind closed doors now without including the band members who are the governing body. And these chief and councils today, they're only elected representatives. They're not leaders. The people are the leaders, like I said, they're the governing body. So whatever the people decide, the elect have to represent those decisions. But nowadays, under this new Bill C-15, our chiefs are acting more like corporates instead of band councils. So with that, I have completely lost confidence in this chief and council system that was introduced through the Indian Act. And the Indian Act is not a treaty. It's Canada's legal response to the treaty. Key word there is legal response. Legal response as in Canada legalized genocide, crimes against humanity, human treaty right violation. Now today, our generation, we live the intergenerational trauma. A lot of people my age, we don't know what the unconditional love is. We were raised in a broken generation. Our parents endured residential day schools, and they weren't taught to love us. They weren't taught to love. They were only taught abuse. So now they grow up, they go home, they have children of their own. We were raised on broken love. But might have been broken love, but it was enough to keep the fire burning within our hearts. And it's that fire that burns within our hearts that caused the activation of the movement. And I'm glad, you know, our people hear the call. They hear the call. They understand the importance of what needs to be done within our bands. We got to regain control of this. before our rights are completely signed off. We are living in poverty. We are living in third world conditions in some reserves. And that's not right to be living in this kind of condition when half of what Canada makes is legally ours and it's placed into Canada's Consolidated Revenue Fund, where our funds are being mismanaged to pay into public services, infrastructure, development. And then here we have to make these grants to get a little bit of money out of what we're entitled to. And yet we should be completely entitled to our funds. We should be one of the richest people in our countries. But that's not the fact. The fact of the matter is Canada assumed responsibility over our funds and our affairs through this Indian Act, which now there's no other option but to lawsuit this Indian Act for its intentional interference. And yet our treaties were ratified upon non-interference. So, like I said, things got to get done from the Indigenous term. We've been going by Canada's terms for 149 years, and we've only been going in circles. We are losing rights instead of gaining rights. Then, Canada is only a third party. How could a third party manage a sovereign nation? Sovereign nations throughout Northern Turtle Island. You have your crown, you have your First Nation clans people. These are the equals. Without treaty, Canada wouldn't exist. Canada is just an illusion. Nothing more, nothing less, just an illusion. Ruling through imagination. No actual facts to back up their title to the lands. Same thing with the crown too. The crown to be selling Northwest, what is it called now? Northwest Territories. No, not Northwest. I can't remember what it is right now. My mind is kind of all over. But other than that, peeps, you guys are doing a good job. Thank you for hooking us up with Michelle here. Thank you, Michelle, for giving us ear. Hopefully this message could get out. We need more people to hear this message that the movement is spreading throughout the land. We need like Jerry Lee said, we need to start shielding our children as we see fit. We have these colonial governments here telling us how we should raise our children. And they're using our children as a pawn in their game. Children shouldn't be used in this game of chess of politics. Life shouldn't be used. Nobody has the right to decide over another's life. But there is mutual respect. There is mutual love. There is the 7 teachings that need to be brought back to our circles and lived to the fullest. You could know the teachings, but it's harder to live them because it's gonna require a lot of self-discipline. Changes have to be made from within first before changes can be made out here.
Masi Cho. Masi. Rick, would you like to unmute yourself?
Bonjour. Sunge Gaboy Makwa Totem. My English name is Rick Kingfisher. It's not it's my stepfather's name. My mother comes from James Smith. My father comes from Swan Lake, Manitoba, Treaty 1. I'm registered on Sturgeon Lake, Saskatchewan, Treaty 6. My line goes back to the Portage Band as well. My great-grandfather signed Treaty 1. I'm a co-founder of Anishinaabe Movement. I was part of 60 Scoop. I was scooped when I was 4 days old, and I grew up in white society. At an early age, I could see a lot of problems that they were actually pointed out through my foster parents. You know, like go take a bath because you don't want to grow up like them dirty Indians on the reserve. A lot of that, but I could see the differences. I could feel for some reason at an early age, I could see the pain in the people that they were pointing out. And I had empathy, understanding of their situations. As well as I did a lot of fighting in school. I hit 27 schools by the time I dropped out. I dropped out in grade 6. Every school I got the strap. I didn't even have to do anything. That was the example, I guess. But my mind just went blank. I had all these wonderful things to say, but what we stand about is really important. I work with, I'm in renovations and I see how our people live. I see, I fix their homes. I see exactly how they live. I see the addiction, the struggle with addictions. I see a lot, and it's really hard on it's hard on the heart to know that all our nations are suffering right now. The children, women, men, everybody is touched by this. Residential school system, that Indian Act that introduced that system, that needs to go away. We need to be free again. We need to experience, we need to be who we are. Who we are is within those teachings, 7 teachings that we pass on. That's where we will find ourselves. The courage, the love, the strength, the wisdom. All of those teachings have something for each one of us. I believe that we're all given gifts. We're born with these gifts. And it's through those teachings that we were able to develop those gifts, and share them so that our people will be stronger. I've always been drawn to what our people have been experiencing. When I see a blockade or a roadblock or anything, I'm usually there. I'll make my way there. I've experienced RCMP snooping around the blockades. I've watched them sneak around in the bushes not far, carrying all their weapons and everything, hiding. My primary concern right now is our chief and councils. We know that there's corruption, things aren't right, but we can't get no information. I've tried, and I haven't gotten any information. Like, yeah, nobody wants to. There's no help there. There's no guidance. Nothing. We have to make these applications and everything, and information is still withheld. Extremely hard to get accurate information. Something that we can do something about. And that's one of the reasons that we formed this, our movement, is to help each other. I'm kind of getting lost right now. Extremely grateful to be here. That's it for now. Miigwech.
Honored to have you here, Rick, and grateful for all your sharing. And all of you have expressed the depths of how deep this is. And when I open up my podcast and say, I hope we honor the Indigenous lives lost, I mean it. I don't feel like many people understand the genocide we live under and experience. So I wanted to ask our last person here if she wants to unmute and say hello and introduce yourself in your way.
Ani hindi na maganag. Adikto dentes ni ka makwendo dem. Kagis ka kami gagdunji. Hello, my relations. My name is Denise Pruden. My colonial name. I originate from Kagis Kakamigag First Nation, which is Little Saskatchewan First Nation, Manitoba, Canada, and I've been an original member of Anishinaabe movement. We first started off with just a handful of us. We created awareness for the missing and murdered children that died in residential school several years back, and we had a movement. We created a lot of awareness where our movement sparked a lot of attention, and there was large amount of monies funneled into our First Nation communities for residential schools and the missing and murdered children. So when I talk about the residential schools, my dad was actually a residential school survivor. He was the last survivor in our community. So it was an important movement for me because growing up, we were lucky that we were raised to know our way of life, our language. We didn't lose. Well, I can't say I didn't lose it because I did lose it later on in life, but I gained it back. But when I go back and talk about the residential schools and the effect that it had on my dad, my dad taught us our way of life, our language, to live off the land. To this day, I still know how to live off the land, and I do my best to carry those teachings to our immediate family. And we were the fortunate ones in our community. So when we were growing up, we were not allowed to attend any church gatherings in our community. We were always taken back to our way of life. And we were brought up in ceremonials, and that's. My dad used to go to treaty days in other communities. We'd commute, and my dad would put us in front of the arbor in the powwow circuit. From there, well, that's I remember just being little, and I became a dancer when I got older. I started traveling the trails all over, and I was so proud of my family because my whole family all joined the circuit, and we had like nieces and nephews. Our children, our grandkids started joining. The past few years, I've lost interest in the powwow circuit because I started seeing a lot of wrongdoing within the circuit. And I seen people under the influence. I seen people that were dancing for competition. To me, the true meaning of being in the power circuit was healing. That's where we get our healing from. And in 2011, we got flooded out from our community of Little Saskatchewan First Nation. We were gone from our community up until 2017. My daughter grew up in hotel rooms, and I still kept teaching my kids, my grandkids. My son was only 16 years old when we got evacuated and flooded out. We lost our homes. And by the time we returned home, my son already had started a family of his own. My daughters had children. They brought in children, and that's not how we left off. And then when they were doing distributions of houses in our community, they thought that these kids were still gonna come back small. That's the connection that we had with our leadership. You know, being in a hotel room took a lot of it impacted our younger generation so much. And to take them back into the community, they at first they had culture shock, and then but with me and my daughter, because by then my daughter was still young. I actually have her here with me. She I started taking her home so that she wouldn't get that culture shock, and then keeping her in the circle of our way of life. And I kept taking her home little bit at a time, just to get her familiar with going back into our community. And you know, when I lost my son through the addictions, and I had to turn my back on my son for 1 whole year. You know, it was probably one of the best things I've ever done, was to turn my back on my son and show him tough love. Because if I didn't do that, my son wouldn't be where he is today. Today, my son, he's a father of 4, and he's sober, looking after his family. And back when I turned my back on him on those days, he only had two dependents. And I try and encourage our people, you know, because of this meth and drug addictions our people are going through, to follow suit. I know it's hard. I said to them, you know, it's hard to turn your back on your loved ones, but you could be saving their lives. So when we started returning back from that flood, our people were destroyed, and the government only gave each and every single individual $30,000 for all the trauma we faced during that flood. I myself got $30,000, which was gone like instantly. My daughter that grew up in that cycle during the evacuation, she only got $3,000. Those were the ones that suffered the most in that evacuation. The children, those ones that grew up in hotel rooms. You know, our people suffered with diabetes, addictions. They went home with addictions. Today, there's probably like 96% of our people that are struggling with addictions in our community. And the rest are probably the sober people, are myself and my siblings, and all my nieces and nephews are under the influence. I do have a few that are sober, and you know, we're fortunate that we have each other. And there's so much damage to our people with this colonial structure, and the damage that the government has applied on our people. And there's not enough being done for our future generations. You know, we're losing our rights. We're losing our way of life. and we're losing our people because there's not enough being done. And this is what Anishinaabe movement is all about, we're trying to reestablish and gain our rights for our future generations. It's what we're doing it for. And there's too much damage and nobody is doing anything about it. Unfortunately, we have to be the ones to bring the light, and we have to be the ones to shed the light and show everybody this is what we're going through in our communities. My community is a newly built community, and the people over there are living in third world conditions. Our children are suffering because everybody turns a blind eye when it comes to the addictions in the First Nation communities. Many drug dealers in the community, and because I guess that's all they know how. And you know what? We got called a lot of names for speaking up, standing up for our people. We get plotted on, we get attacked, we face a lot of backlash. I know myself and my family members, we launched an election appeal and our chief of council got thrown out, hoping that things would get better in our community. But to this day, the same chief and council came in, and it's a very sad situation. They're supposed to be there to represent our people, to look out for our people. But instead, they're taking for their own personal gain. It's not in the best interest of our people. There's no confidence in our chief and council. There's no compliance from them. I don't ever recall a band meeting being ever held. And there's so much that they hide from the people. And when I go back to the residential school funding, I know my community received close to 683,000, I think. Close to $500,000 or over $500,000 they received. And it doesn't show anything for the mental health and well-being for our people. And there's no, there's no reconciliation in my community. There's so much damage that I could talk about that our children and our elders are facing. There's cuckoos and papas over there raising their grandchildren when their job should have been done already. And I'm fortunate that I'm not one of those. That's why I do what I do. And I've been to university. I've taken First Nations rights. I've taken law, and I've been in the health and child welfare. There's so many things that I've studied throughout my time. And I'm back in my community now because I've started creating unity with our people. And chief and council have not created that unity. I know a lot of people have come to me and they tell me, they talk about you at the band office. They say, oh, why is that woman complaining? Because I talk a lot and I'm really vocal about what goes on at the community level, and I shed a lot of light what goes on into the community. And I'm not complaining, I'm addressing to the outside world what we have to live with, what our children got to live with. And it's a really sad situation when you come to our community. I've invited some members over there to come and take a look at our community, and we should have had a really beautiful, prospering community when we were flood evacuees, and we don't have absolutely anything but houses. So many houses burned down, and they're still continuing to burn down to this day. Nobody does anything. Everybody turns a blind eye. And our band office is a trailer, which should have been a multi-million-dollar facility. There's nothing there for our children at all. And, it's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. And it really hits home hard if you see what we live with. I know that there's other First Nation communities struggling with addictions and mental health. And I have elders coming to me all the time. I have because they're looking after their own. And, you know, it's a day-to-day basis where we have to deal with a psychosis episode of a loved one. And when we had our elections back in April, we were the ones that faced the repercussion that whole week, dealing with family members that were under the influence. And, you know, we're the sober ones and we're the ones that face the repercussion, and it takes a toll on you. And sometimes you just got to take a step back and, you know, look after yourself in a good way and rejuvenate. And that's what we do. I have my brother here with me as well. He's in the movement as well. And I asked him if he wanted to say a few words, but he said he's okay with not saying any words. And there's a lot of stuff that I could talk about when we go into the colonial and assimilation of our people. It's unfortunate that we're living in these conditions now and in these situations right across. It's the children and the elders that are suffering in our communities, and this is why we are doing what we're doing, is because we are trying to save what's left of what we have for our future generations, because our future generations looks really bleak. I've talked about this several years ago already, you know, what's going on with our future generations, because now, like, you know, there's so much drug addictions, and they are starting to normalize the addictions and the meth crisis in every First Nation. I know in my community, they've normalized it, that people are under the influence and they can go out and still function. And you can't even tell if that person is under the influence of some sort of a drug. That's how much they normalized it, even when they have community events. You know, there's people participating in events trying to get money to feed their addictions. And I've stopped interacting in those events because I know what I know, and I know what I see. And it's like they're enabling them. And even the temporary jobs and stuff, like, you know, it's really disheartening when you look at it from that point of view. And unfortunately, everybody else turns a blind eye. And it's not only within the communities, it's also within the other tribal councils, the Treaty 2 offices, or whatever other offices, the treaty offices. You know, they're supposed to lead and set an example, but in reality, they're a disgrace to our people. They work for our people, but they don't look at it from that perspective. Instead, they're superior and they're untouchable. They you know, they think they don't have to answer to our people, but without the grassroots people, they wouldn't be where they are. Because I know in the past we've tried to meet with several grand chiefs. They refuse to sit down and talk to us because they say that they only work for those chiefs. But without those chiefs, you know, they wouldn't be where they're at. They have to look at it from that perspective. Without the grassroots people, where would they be? As everybody knows about the Southern Chiefs, what happened over there in Ottawa, that's a disgrace to our people. You know, if that were somebody else, like me, I would be reprimanded and I would face repercussion if I conducted myself in that manner. I know that at the community level, when we face a backlash and repercussions, there's no mercy there when it comes to, like, you know, somebody like myself or my family. They would, like, you know, they would face the repercussion. They would lose their job and titles. And I have family members right now, because of who we are and what we do, they're facing repercussions and they're barely hanging on to their jobs. I have an older sister who faced backlash and they let her go because of who we are and what we do. And that happened to me as well, but I don't want to really go into too much detail about that. I'll do that at a later time. But yeah, our family faces a lot of backlash, repercussion, but you know what? We're still here. And we're not going anywhere because this fight is for our future generations. And we are going to get what we are aiming for. That's our goal. We are going to get it. I know that I've been shown that we are going to get what we're fighting for our future generations. But that's all I'm going to say for now. And I thank you for inviting me to your podcast here. It's been a pleasure. And I was trying to invite another elder here to come and join us, but unfortunately he's having some issues. So hopefully if we have another time and date again for this, hopefully we can invite him back in.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Cool.
All right, Wendy, your team is unmuted. Is there anything you would like to talk about the movement specific or maybe the railway blockade that happened?
Yeah, it was really interesting. So that, like, it seemed like the cops were on our side. That was the difference. Like, usually the cops are like kicking you out and
Want to put us in handcuffs?
want to put you in handcuffs right away, and violence breaks out. But they actually started directing traffic for us.
Yeah. They were working for us.
And they were working for it. They were just like, you guys keep the peace, like, and they were like preventing angry rednecks from like running through the blockade. And like one of our warriors did get her foot run over by a motorcycle. Assaulted by a motorcycle there. It wasn't like broken or anything, but she was hurting.
I got bumped by a vehicle, but I slapped this truck.
She got bumped by a vehicle. Yeah, so it was pretty interesting, the way it went down. Because the cop was there waiting for us. We notified him by accident the day before while we were on video chat with the other members. We were like, oh yeah, by the way, you pulled me over.
I'm like driving out of nowhere. I get pulled over because my lights weren't on. And I'm like, hey, since I got you here, what's your boss's number? So he gave me the number and we contacted him.
Yeah, let him know we're having a peaceful protest. And we didn't use protest. We almost say protest, but we don't use the full word. We say movement.
Tell them about
we're a movement.
About the rape trade tracks.
And then the cops, like, we were originally planning to just block the train, but he's like, look, you guys are all going to get arrested if you block the train. And I was like, oh, okay. But if we block the road, you're not going to arrest us, right? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay, we're not trying to like get in jail. We're trying to raise awareness about our movement of warriors that are waking up. And then they're like, oh, this is what we've been waiting for. And I was like, yeah, like, imagine, we're the real tenants of the land. Like, you guys are the renters here. I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, and our other warriors can confirm that, like, we don't need warrants to kick in drug dealers' houses and get them off our reserve, or like go and look for our children. Like, we have the right to go and do that under natural law. And
under natural law, I have the right to do lots of things for sure. I love this story already.
But the natural law, like, the ministers, the government, like, provincial, municipal, and federal are all assumed governments. That means that there's another government that they're sitting on top of. And that other government that they're sitting on top of is a clan system, council fire-based, consensus-based government that our elders used to talk about forever. My grandma and your grandma sitting by the fire.
Than theirs.
Now that's a law. Now you got a law. 2 grandmas together, that's okay. So now it's for sure gonna. So like we're sovereign. That's the thing. We are sovereign Dene. They're sovereign Nehiao. My dad used to always tell me, remember, you're a Dene. You're a giant. You're a sleeping freaking giant. We're Dene all the way from Churchill, Manitoba to Alaska and everything in between. And Nehiao, you're freaking giants too. Buffalo country. All those redneck countries down south, we're sorry that they got flooded by all these hateful, hurtful people. We have treaty now. We traded children. We have treaty. We're peaceful between the Dene and the Nehiao and the Anishinaabe and the
All
Dene.
nations.
All nations. We're peaceful.
Turtle Island.
Like on Turtle Island, we all agree natural law is a better way of governing our people, but they're trying to make us forget.
Economic system.
Yeah, we're in a time for remembering, right? And like I went to school to become a doctor, but instead I became like this like poet, warrior poet. Like I write poetry using this technology, white man technology, and then I write all this stuff, and then I like have visions and dreams about it through ceremony too, and then yeah, things come out. So like I have a vision. I had a vision after the 7th fire, the 8th fire prophecy, and I wanted to share that with you guys because that's like this is a vision for what we're aiming for through natural law. We don't want people to forget who they are and where they come from and to be unrooted anymore. Oh yeah, and we opened a website too, that Rooted Warriors rootedwarriorsociety.com. It's a mutual aid website. If you're suffering and you want to go to treatment, let us know. We'll try to get you there. If you want to go and attend ceremony somewhere, Sundance, Sweat Lodge, whatever, you're short on bucks, put in an application. We'll try to get you some money right away if we can't. But like that aside, a vision for post-symbiosis, the era of sacred renewal. So I went to school for biology, so I learned that there's 3 different types of relationships in the animal kingdom: predatory, parasitic, and symbiotic. And right now, we're currently experiencing a predatory government that is sucking us dry, literally. Like, and it's been hurting us for a long time, stringing our people out. You know, like we have, and now it's their people too. Like the meth crisis isn't just a native problem. Like every color has it. Like we all have children, we all have family. Like this is the way we should be governing ourselves and acting accordingly, right? We have 7 laws for a reason. Like we have a Sundance for a reason. We have Sweat Lodge for a reason. It's the way we heal. And like we're not gonna heal ourselves with the same like medicine that made us sick, you know, like so a vision for post symbiosis. This is after our fires are all lit across the nation. We're all in agreement. We're going by council fires, traditional territory systems, unified giants. Okay, sounds good. When the last pipeline is buried beneath wildfires, and the last algorithm sings with bird calls, we will not call it the end of civilization. We will call it the beginning of remembering. A world after symbiosis. After the Great Shift, after the falling away of extractive empires, poisoned cities, and the disenchanted minds, the earth began to breathe again. Not in silence, but in song. The people had remembered. They did not rebuild the old world. they rooted in something new. Grown from compost of the collapsed system and ancient prayers, we call this the era of sacred renewal. Governance is the council fire. There is no prime ministers, no kings, no CEOs. Instead, each region is held by a council fire, circles of elders, youth, and land guardians, midwives, and storytellers. Governance is based on consensus, ceremony, seasonal cycles, and the laws of the land itself. Disputes are resolved by listening to the water, the wind, and the dreams. Yeah, and the dreams of the people. Each village is sovereign. Each ecosystem is a sacred constitution. The economy is reciprocity. There is no hoarding of wealth. Currency is no longer domination, but care. Food is grown in polyculture gardens. Trade flows through songs, crafts, skills, and seasonal festivals. The buffalo are back. The salmon return in abundance. And no one is poor, because everyone belongs. We do not own the land. We are owned by our responsibility to it. Technology is regenerative. We kept what served life, solar woven with moss, windmills shaped like wings, computing systems that mimic mycelium networks, artificial intelligence that serves ceremony, not surveillance. We use it to listen to the earth better, not to escape her. Children learn to code by studying spider webs and bird migrations. Spirituality is every day. Every home has an altar. Every river crossing is a prayer. The people walk barefoot in the mornings to remember humility. There are no churches, only gatherings under the sky, with pipe and drum, with chants and ancient tongues revived and thriving. Ceremony guides farming, healing, dying, and birthing. The veil between worlds is not feared, it's honored. Education is embodied wisdom. There are no factory schools. Children learn through apprenticeships with beekeepers and seed gatherers and historians who remember through dance and warriors who protect through peacemaking. Reading is taught with the stars. Math is taught with the rivers. Science begins with awe. Every learner has a role in the circle. Justice is restoration. No cages, no police, no punishment without understanding. Conflict is met with medicine people. With circles, with storytelling. Healing takes time, and time is sacred. Even those who once exploited the earth, if they return with tears and truth, are welcomed back through trial, accountability, and transformation. The people walk differently now. They walk slow. They sing when they walk. They carry their ancestors on their clothing, their tattoos, their languages. They say thank you to the trees. They dance when it rains. The world is not perfect. It is alive, evolving, dialogue with all beings. Post-symbiosis is not utopia. It is realignment. It is not perfection. It is sacred relationship. It is not a dream. It is already growing in the hearts of those who remember. Yeah. So,
That's beautiful.
yeah, that was the 8th fire.
That's beautiful.
I have another one, but it's like the 7th fire. But if you guys want the 7th fire prophecy, y'all just join the group and come to one of the sacred fires. Give me some protocol, and I'll tell you like a good story should be told.
I love it. I love it. Is there anything that you guys want to add for today's episode, knowing you're welcome back anytime?
Warrior Society calls out all nations to rise up and warrior up. Don't be scared to use your voice. Don't be scared to stand. It's time now.
Hard times now, yeah.
I also wanted to just toss it in there, they there's this thing called restorative justice that they just recently brought about to our nations, and the child welfare system has been ratified within our nations. To this day, there's children still being taken from our families. Restorative justice only benefits those that are sitting in offices. If that were me or anybody else within our movement, we would get processed through the colonial justice system.
Yep.
And that's one of the things that I forgot to mention, because we are posing, we stand for our movement. And they make us feel like as if we're doing something wrong when we shed light to the outside world for what we're standing up for. And they try and intimidate us and try and intimidate us with the colonial justice system. And there is no truth and reconciliation for our people. To this day, there is no truth and reconciliation. And start empowering our people to rise up, speak up. It's important for our people, our future generations. And we're not doing this for ourselves. We're doing it for everybody else, our future generations and our children and our elders. Hi.
So,
Okay.
See,
Hi, sisters and brothers.
Also, to those colonial people claiming sovereignty, you're not sovereign.
When our ancestors had sacred fire, our ancestors prayed always about 7 fires from now. We are their prayers made flesh. We are their prayers made flesh. We're here now. We're not going nowhere. We're going to stand to whatever end for our future 7 fires from now. We got to make that same fire happen. What they prophesied 7 fires ago, we have to prophesy 7 fires from now. We got to lay down the foundation. And we will do it as we see fit. We will not compromise. We got to stand with courage, wisdom. We're going through a time where the settlers They feel that they are the first and last say. But when we speak, when we move, it's because of 7 fires ago. There's an older being in each and every one of you. And it's an ancestor that's in you. 7 fires from now, me too, I will return through my line. 7 fires from now, I will speak again through my line. Izagin and Ishinaba. I love you guys, man. There should be for this. There should be no limit to this. Our ancestors didn't say, they didn't surrender. Why should we? There was no war to enter these treaties of surrender. We never surrendered anything. It was just the language used in the treaties that manipulated our ancestors. But now we see the manipulation. And it's our generation, it's our time to set the record straight. It's our time to use their ways against them. And we're not trying to cause an uprising. We are a peaceful people. But when that peace is disturbed, they're poking a big turtle right now. They're poking at a big turtle right now that's going to rise up. And we're going to stretch. We're going to crack our bones. It's been a long time. Mekanak has been spoke. Mekanak is the truth. Turtle represents the truth. This island itself is true. You guys, don't doubt yourselves. Don't be intimidated. Don't doubt your words. Don't doubt your actions. Doubt is not our doubt, fear. Those are not our teachings. Hate is not our teaching. Jealousy is not our teaching. We got to go back to the root of this island. It's the only way we're going to resurrect as a nation. We're not dead. We've just been sleeping. And it's been too long. The 7 fire is here now. It's been prophesied that it will not be easy. But that will all depend on our actions if we make it hard or easy. And where we make it hard for ourselves is through the thought. Thoughts will always exaggerate an outcome. Doubt. But in the heart, it's already been foretold by those before us that we are going to rise and we are going to lead our people back. When I got my name from Dave Cushane at the Turtle Lodge, he gave me my name, Zungi Gabawimakwa. He who leads our people back. I'm not trying to lead. I'm only trying to create greater leaders. It's not going to be easy, but we got each other. Right now, there's territories in this video. A new confederacy is about to be born. I believe that with all my heart, with all my soul and spirit. A new confederacy will be born. And this confederacy has an ancient heart. And it's those ancient words that are going to guide us. It's those ancient prayers through those council fires that molded us today, that brought us together. This is no coincidence. We were destined to meet each other. If we shed blood together, there's going to be a brotherhood that will never be broken. There's going to be a sisterhood that will never be broken. We were once broken through lies, but we see through the lies now. These lies won't break us no more. They can't penetrate us because we have a clear heart. We have a clear direction. We know where to go. We know where we're going with this. Listen to your hearts. That's the map right there. Don't allow your thoughts to compromise your will. When you allow those thoughts to close in on you, you're going to begin to doubt. You're going to begin to feel unworthy. When you begin to feel unworthy, you're not feeling unworthy about yourself. You're feeling unworthy because of your ancestors. Don't allow that unworthy to step in, because they were worth everything. Everything to them in their vision, in their eyes, was worth it. And they seen us today. They seen you guys standing around that table. They seen Sister Jerry Lee. They heard the cries. Denise, they heard your cry. Rick, they heard it. Now they chose us to do the heavy lifting. They chose us to break the ground for them, to make way for those future. This is a heavy load, but our ancestors chose the strongest warriors to see their will done. Don't be ashamed of what you guys do. I'm not ashamed of what we are. There are many pretendians out there that are going to say they're seventh fire, but a lot of them are not rooted in the teachings and the law, in the clans, in the warrior society. The warrior society is a rites of passage, and we're passing through together. We're passing through hand in hand. Now we're ready to play Red Rover. We call Canada over. Thank you guys, man. Thank you guys for what you do. You know, you guys are your ancestors' prayers come true, man. You guys are prayers made flesh. Kachemig, watch to that elder standing there for being faithful. When the system couldn't break you, you stayed faithful, man. So we could learn, we can thrive as Anishinaabe, as Dene, Swampy, Plains. It's those elders from the sixth fire that were tripped. They were broken. They endured great hardship, but they didn't break. They didn't break. They stayed faithful. Now, because of them being faithful, Denise has the tongue. No matter what that old man went through, he didn't break because he knew he had to stand strong. And that stuff is repeating itself through these new systems that are being introduced. But we see it. We see right through it all. We see through the corporate lie. And that's what they're trying to do to our people right now. They're trying to incorporate us through these new election systems. But it hit the movement. It hit us. We see it. We see what's going on. And those of us that see it here clearly, we see it through the fire. We see things through the fire that were not supposed to be seen. I had elders ask me, you guys should know these teachings. How do you know them? I was taught by the fifth fire. My family, my aunts and uncles, they were bound by alcohol in their days. My grandparents had no one to teach because they were gone too far in their addictions. So now the grandparents turn to the seventh fire. Sit down here, boy. I'm going to show you what I'm going to show you what you. Grandpa, that will never come back. I regret saying that to my grandpa. It's back. It's here now. I wish I could go back in time, but the only way I can fulfill his words is live them. Live them. And every day that goes by, I try my best to fulfill his teaching. I want to make it come to life. Use me, ancestors. Speak through me. And the other night, when I lit the fire, my grandpa was on the other side, laughing at me. I told you you can do it. I told you you can do it, kiddo. Get your amigo at Shumis. Yet, I want to throw in the towel. I gotta confess that couple days I've been combating. Oh my goodness, you guys, I haven't shed tears in a long time, man. This is what you call healing waters, bro. Thank you guys for giving me ear. I'm sorry for getting a little bit out of showing Zungi's heart. This is what's always in my heart. I look at you. You guys don't even know how much I love you, man. When I look at the sparkles in your eyes, that's the sacred fire, man. That's the universe right there. When I look at you, wow, what a beautiful creation. Let those words be with you tonight when you close your eyes. Thank the Germani too for everything. Don't make it complicated, man. We only make it worse if we think of it. Feel your next action. Feel everything that you do. Feel the law of nature around you. If you feel doubt, man, go to the lake, go to the nature, walk in the fields, lay in the ground, lay in the grass. Listen to the wind speak, listen to the grass speak, the waters. Light the ishkude, light the fire. You got the four elements of life around you. Become one with the law. Don't try to enforce it. No, man, you enforce it through your heart. You enforce it through your daily lives. You are the law. It's that same fire that you surround yourselves when you have those council fires. It's the same fire burning in your heart. Don't forget your first time, man. Don't forget your first love. When you found yourselves, when we were lost. Don't forget what woke you up. Don't forget what's molding you. Don't forget what's preparing you. Because as soon as you forget that, pride kicks in. And pride is not our teaching. Thank you all. Thank you all again, man. Thank you guys all, man. Thank you, Michelle, for making this. I'm new to this. I had to ask Denise what is Zoom? How do I do this? How do I do that? And she showed me, and now I am here.
Good Uncle Chi-Chings. Thank you. Masi Cho.
How do you unmute this thing now?
I'll mute you. Well, I'm really honored to have you all here. Geraldine, it went mute when you were speaking. So I was wondering if you wanted to come back and make your point that you were going to say.
I'm just gonna go open the door quickly here. My husband is playing with his drill. Whoa, it's dark out here. Okay, so I just wanted to, acknowledge, my new found brothers and sisters of the movement. I'm just learning too. And, I made that decision to walk, the red road, to practice, and to get back to the language of my ancestors. I'm still learning Cree. I can understand it when the elders speak, but I'm just, I guess that fear that was instilled within me not to speak that language, right? I gotta clear that fear from, from to break free and just speak the language. But I know Jordan, he didn't get that opportunity. He never got the chance to come home to his home fire, to learn his culture, to be a part of something so sacred like this movement. And I'm not afraid. And this coming weekend, we are planning another movement. And there, my dad's, he's one of the strongest people I know. He has gone through so many challenges in his life, and he's faced death many times, but still has courage to come and stand with us when it's needed. So I'm happy to be there. And my son and my granddaughter will be there. So there will be 4 generations standing together. And hopefully that will bring courage to other people, to our other members, that, it's never too late. There's no shame in just jumping into your culture, getting back to your roots. There's absolutely no shame. And that's what I wanted to share. I go say, I love you guys. Denise, I'm
Honey.
really happy that you stood by me and I stand by you.
Okay,
You're
you're asking me.
one of my brave sisters. I want to acknowledge you today too.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Yep. I just wanted to mention, before my parents started their journey, I just wanted to mention there, it's really important for our family to implement for this First Nations Financial Transparency Act, because back in the day, our parents, before they left us, they met with the Prime Minister and the MLA, and that's what they left us, was that First Nations Financial Transparency Act, that they wanted that for our people, for that to be implemented. And, that's why it's so important for us moving forward to have that implemented within our First Nations community. My brother always talks about it, but back in those days, I was not on the right path to know what my parents were doing when they started this First Nation Transparency Act with this Prime Minister back in the day. And he always talks about it, that they met with the MLAs and the Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, back in those days. And, we became so resilient to stand and to become a movement with other allies because we've been through so much trauma as a family. Our brother went missing and murdered in our community, and we found his remains. And after we found his remains, we lost my older brother with his wife and a baby and my cousin in a car accident. And those are things that I don't talk about too much because that's the trauma that we dealt with. And I had a nephew that was murdered by Winnipeg police. And they were so good at covering that up. And to this day, there's still an inquest. And then we lost our oldest sister. She was part of our movement as well. And so she started her journey. And my brother was the one that found her deceased. And those are the things that we don't talk about. But we just talk about all that trauma that we faced as a family. Our niece, we lost one of our nieces. She grew up in the child welfare system. And we lost her. There was many loved ones we lost along the way, including our parents. And back in 2002, I was not on the right path of life, and I got into a motor vehicle accident, and I was gone for about a year, sedated. And I woke up in Toronto, and when I woke up and they brought me home, and I remember them telling my mom and dad that they were trying to make my home wheelchair accessible. And I told my mom and dad, I'm going to walk, I said to them. I'm going to walk, I don't want that. And my mom was trying to get a wheelchair thing, and I told her, no, just leave it. I'll show you, I said to her. When I woke up, it was in the fall on my mom and dad's anniversary when I got into that motor vehicle accident that was supposed to have killed me. But I came back and I was told I wasn't going to walk again. And I slept for a year. I was sedated. And when I woke up in Toronto, my sister Sharon was with me. She came and stayed beside me. And when I woke up, and that's what I could hear them talking, that they had a family meeting about me, that I was never going to walk again because they had to reconstruct me to bring me back. So nobody knows this stuff. My family knows this, and I don't talk much about it. Like, I did have my struggles with walking and being who I am now. And I made out of metal. I laugh about it because when I go through the metal detectors in a courthouse, they start to beep. They start searching me and stuff like that. That's how much metal I have on me.
You're a bionic woman.
Nobody, but when you look at me, you can never tell that I was reconstructed and put back together. And there's a reason for that. And I know why that reason is now. And I've mentored the same girl. I mentored the same girl that got into an accident. Same thing. She was trying to give up on life years ago. Probably about 9 years ago now, because this was in 2002 I got into this accident. On my mom and dad's anniversary of September 6th. And about 10 years ago, there was this young girl I mentored. And I told her, you know what? I said, I've been through the same thing. Look at me. I can walk. I said to her, you can do it too, because she was trying to give up on life. And I got invited to this young girl's graduation just this past year. She got her PhD, and that's the effect you have on somebody when you show them what you can do. And I've been a role model for so many, and I spoke with so many youth, and I encourage them and I empower them. But I just wanted to let you guys know about all that stuff, and this is why there's so much involvement with my family, because of the history and the trauma we faced. And this is why we're fighting so hard, because our parents wanted us to carry on that battle for them, and they've advocated for our people. I know my brother talks about how this community, which is now Dauphin River First Nation, they used to be a part of our community back in the day. And my dad was the one that helped them segregate because they were being treated so badly in our community. So now, as a family, we're carrying on their legacy and their teachings when we're in this movement. We do have a lot of family members behind the scenes. They are not in the chats, but when the movement comes, they're there. There's so many movements that they've been through in their lifetimes. And so with that being said, I just wanted to let you guys all know where we come from, who we are, even though we don't talk about it amongst one another. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's who we are, because as a family, that's what we all face together with my siblings and our children, our grandchildren, and so forth. They've experienced all this trauma in our family. But I'm done now, guys.
Oh, thank you.
I'll see you guys at the next movement.
It's awesome. Thank you guys for coming, for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your thoughts, for inspiring our youth, all the things that we need in order to create a better movement of solidarity, of unity, of love. I loved everybody's, contribution to this conversation and sharing very vulnerable parts of us. We're collectively grieving too. So tears are healthy, and it shows the right way for us to heal together. I'm really honored all of you would be here. I want you all to know you're welcome back as a group, individually, whatever you'd like to do. And we'll keep moving forward together, because that's the whole point, the next 7 generations too. Go ahead, Wendy. I'm just going to unmute you here.
There's one thing we want to address. If it's okay with any of the other movement members, the calls to action. If it is, raise your hand, your arm.
Okay.
For all nations.
Yeah.
Wendy.
Okay. The Grassroots Movement calls to action. I would like to begin by declaring the following. There is not one treaty stating Northern Turtle Island has... Oh, man.
Is that the one that's Ungi wrote?
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to read it?
Amendments made.
Just-
Action.
Or do you have it?
One there. I can
Okay,
read
here it is.
Huh?
Calls to action. I had to do send it to you to the main group. How do you mute it?
Okay. Can you hear us? Okay, so the Grassroots Movement calls to action. I would like to begin by declaring the following. There's not one treaty stating Northern Turtle Island had ceded our laws, clan systems, and warrior societies. Whereas today, our nations shall hereby reestablish our unceded laws, clan systems, and warrior societies. Our nations shall assert and exercise our unceded sovereignty through our sovereign territories. Aho. The introduction of the grassroots movement's calls to action. One is, well, okay, audit all Jordan's principal offices, audit all band support funds, abolish the Election Act, lawsuit the Indian Act, the release of trust funds, amending the treaties, entering new treaties. Please note these calls to action shall be activated through multiple treaty areas. And then should I read them out? Yeah. Okay, so audit the Indian Act principal, audit Jordan's principal's offices. Why audit Jordan's principal JP offices? After band elections, once inauguration has been completed, a member from council receives the JP portfolio. And through this portfolio, councils make false proposals to gain access to JP funds. JP has never been audited. Now it is time. Calls to action. A JP board of directors and band finance audit committees shall be installed in every band throughout Northern Turtle Island to manage all JP funds coming in and out. Audit all band support funds. Why audit all bands? When looking into First Nations Transparency Act, one can see multiple material misstatements, and material misstatements are caused by either error or fraud. Martial misstatements. Martial misstatements are caused by either error or fraud. Calls to action. An unincorporated board of directors and financial audit committees shall be installed in every band through Northern Turtle Island to manage our trust and our trust and band funds. Abolish the Election Act. Why abolish the Election Act? Before elections, members get along. When the election draws near, division begins to unfold amongst the members. It is evident that this act is responsible for band division. Calls to action. Bands shall hereby assert access to their rights to self-determination, and bands shall hereby implement their own customary election law with no outside interference. Lawsuit the Indian Act. Why lawsuit the Indian Act? The Indian Act is not a treaty. It is a Canadian legal response to the treaties. The key words are legal response, and treaties were ratified upon non-interference. Calls to action. Canada's legal response is liable for multiple grave crimes, and Canada must be held fully accountable for the acts of intentional interference and intergenerational trauma. Release of trust funds. Why should the trust funds be released? Canada's assumed beneficiary responsibility over our trust funds and a third party should have never been allowed to manage our sovereign affairs. Calls to action. Our trust funds shall be removed from the consolidated revenue fund, so our nations can reestablish our unceded sovereignty and form our governance as we see fit.
You hear that, King Charles?
Amending the treaties. why why amend the treaties? And we also know that our trust funds are being held in London. That is its own country. That's separate from Britain. Amending the treaties. Why amend the treaties? The language used in the treaties is not aligned with treaty law. We agreed to share our land and our resources, and it is evident that only one side is benefiting. Calls to action. The clans people inherited the unceded treaty power. We can ratify a treaty. We can amend a treaty. We can even withdraw from a treaty. But that depends on the outcome here today. Entering new treaties. Why enter new treaties? The gathering here today will determine if there is in fact a way forward. We are all respectful representatives, and we are obligated to uphold treaty law. Calls to action. Through our unceded treaty power, we can ratify new treaties with any world nation to strengthen our international relations and open trade. That's unceded sovereignty. These are calls to action. We are not asking for your permission. These calls to action are about respecting the unceded sovereignty of our nations. Every representative that you see here has the power to make every representative that you see here has the power to make the wrong right. How do we make the wrong right? Let's start by accepting the legal fact our nations are sovereign. As soon as every representative here can accept the fact that clans are sovereign, we can now begin treaty fulfillment, which is a treaty obligation. For generations, our nations have been living the Canadian illusion. And the fact of the matter is, Canada is not a prime party to these treaties. The head of state introduced Canada to Canada. The head of state introduced Canada, and Canada introduced band councils and reserve lands through the Indian Act. The band councils are not the legal treaty signatories, and reserve lands are not treaty lands. Clans are the legal treaty signatories, and our treaty territories are reserved lands set aside by our ancestors for the use and benefit of our nations. Therefore, now is time to uphold the treaty law. Miigwech.
Yeah, hi.
I see.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you doing this good work. So thank you. With that, I am going to do our exit. And thank you all again for your time that you had given us today. I'm really honored that you could be here, and I was really honored to talk to you after such a great weekend of trying to do education. That's really important. I just want to remind everybody that the 11 Fox Walk is on Saturday. This is 2 years after the shooting death by the Calgary police. And his mother, Ms. Wildman, she wants to do a walk and try to raise some awareness. Blue Jacket Day on June 6th. That will be another day that we have. Again, our book club is every second Monday of each month. And it's important that we're always doing the work of learning from each other. So if you can join, that's of course in my link tree and all my links. You're welcome to sign up. And then let's have a big shout out for November's book, Arc of the Medicine Line, where they talked about the boundary between the US and Canada. Reconciliation Action Group, we've been trying to share some information about things that are happening, and just wanted people to be aware that we got reached out to by the Alberta Liquor and Gaming and Cannabis group and told we have to be careful about how we fundraise. So even though we're not even doing anything really, we're definitely on the radar of all of the government officials because we keep calling them out. Anyway, Masi show to my ancestors, to my granny and my mom of what strength looks like through your example. Thank you to my dad for teaching me to be strong and blunt. To my stepmom, thank you for showing me about your Austrian family and roots and new immigrants, what that's like. My husband, Darcy, I'm honored that not just on top of producing and editing the show, you've been my husband, childhood friend, father of our child, and my support down this journey of, discovery. You've witnessed decades of racism and sexism, and to our child, we are blessed to learn from you, and we are honored you chose us. You give me daily accountability to be a better and stronger person. I hope my daughter and my family will be proud in the future of us trying to discuss these present day issues. I honor the Blackfoot as the elders and members have been so kind to me on my Red Road journey. Elder Red Crane taught me how to pronounce my spirit name in Blackfoot, and Leonard Kenny taught me how to pronounce my spirit name in Sahtu. My humblest apologies to the elders and language keepers as I try to learn proper pronunciation. My Patreon account is Native Calgarian, where you can pledge and support. Thank you, previous donors, for showing your support. If you value listening or watching and can afford to give, thank you. For those who cannot afford to give, love to hear from you at nativeyyc@gmail.com, where you can send in your comments or questions. I also have a YouTube channel. You can go to and subscribe. You can also go to nativecalgarian.com for the latest podcasts and pin posts on social media. And the last thing I want to do, let's talk about something positive. And I've been telling you all about my puppies. So, these puppies here now, they're, just having a hard time with this heat. Today is the 26th, and like it got up to 30 here in Calgary, and we still don't have air conditioning. So it's been a hot day. So it's been nice to finally have these two kind of conk out a little bit because they've been going really hard with that puppy energy. But we got a baby skunk not too far away from our steps, so I'm quite concerned about them. All the rabbits, you're lucky I'm not tradish. And my Dene cousin would say, or you'd be in my dish. Thanks, folks, for listening.